Hello, everyone. Just giving you an update on my truck. Been down now almost 2 months. Um, the original international dealer I took it to just gave me, oh, it seems to work now. The computer says that there's nothing broke, and but then when you ask them, if something would happen if it still continues not using DEF, they tell you, well, it could cause problems. So I paid for that, took it out, took it to another international dealer. They at least listened to me, so I scheduled taking and just replacing the dozer valve and DEF filter. So that way, that eliminated two possible issues. Plus, Cummins says it should be changed every 200,000 miles, and I don't think it was changed when Hirschbach had it. And I haven't changed it, so figured I'd change that. Well, then we got into, I told them, I go, when you check it, it's not going to tell you anything on the computer. It's going to say everything's working, but it didn't use DEF for almost a week. And the original diagnosis was that it froze. I said, isn't there a way you could check the heaters, manually, like taking a ohmmeter and just verifying there's no opens in that in the line heaters and the tank heater? Oh, I don't know, and all that. So last week, I think it was last week or the week before, it was getting down below zero. So I said, here's a simple check. Have someone go out, take, like a rod or something, verify that the DEF's frozen. I go, I would do it, except that I don't know how the sending unit, how close it is to the neck, and I didn't want to hit anything because that QLS sensors on that same assembly where that's on. I go, your guy should be able to go out there, stick it in, verify that the DEF's frozen, start my truck, and leave it sit for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and go out there and check to see if the DEF's unfrozen. And if it is, we know the tank heater works. Then all you have to do is check line heaters. Well, they blew it off, and now it's not getting cold enough. So they keep telling me, oh, they needed some. Well, they also found out that my front drive axle, the brakes were down to a 1/4 inch. So I'm doing a brake job on there. Now I've done it on the rear axle and the steer axle already last year, about the middle of the year. And I knew that they had heat cracks in the rotors 3 months prior to this. Well, when I had it in the first international, they never mentioned it. This one they did, and I asked them how bad it is. Could I get away going, a couple more months? And they said no. The pads are down below DOT specs, and that. So I'm having them do that. Don't hear anything back. I call them up. I get this email, and oh, we got to find the right tech because it's a big job. Doesn't anybody, I would think every mechanic they have working for them could do a brake job and replace, the dozer valve and the filter, be standard for any mechanic. Then I call them last week because I emailed them twice asking them, what an ETA is. And I called him last Thursday and he goes, well, it's scheduled to come in today, tomorrow, or Monday. So it should be done by Monday. So we're going to see, because I got, another apology email saying, oh, we're sorry it's been taking so long and all that. I guess none of these dealers can find enough mechanics to cover the workload they have. And I know where this international dealer is, they're probably slammed. I don't understand why there's such a shortage of mechanics. And none of them can think past if the computer says it doesn't. No, I mentioned that I had the recalibration, and it's funny because they've got a girl that's a service writer and a guy. The girl goes, no, they told us that the calibration takes, you know how under normal circumstances, if you weren't using DEF, you'd get a check engine light and then all of a sudden it would start derating. And I didn't get any of that and never derated. And since I didn't get that, I'm assuming what the information she had is correct, not the information that the other service writer had. It's just ridiculous. You have to use the DEF, and if their computer doesn't tell them that there's a problem, they can't think past there, or they don't want to go any farther, and don't have. I call it going analog rather than digital. I mean, they do it digitally by using the computer. It's like they can't diagnose anything past if the computer says so. And I hate to say this for all us truck drivers. I can understand why some guys are getting, software so they can read their own codes and that, and learning how to hook up their own laptops to it, and then because then they know how to go analog and digital. And that's what I think I'm going to have to do. It just doesn't make any sense. I mean, I've been off almost 2 months now between both dealers. And if it wasn't for that stupid recalibration and not knowing, a good shop either in Joliet or on the north, if the recalibration, if they would catch up on the parts, because even now you can't just go into Cummins. Like if I would go to a Cummins dealer and say I need that replaced, they would see that it has a recalibration and they would say, no, this is only for emergencies. So apparently now it's, if your truck goes down, they'll put it in right away. But if you have a recal done, they don't want to put it in. And then, I mean, I could probably go and find, a side shop to do it, that can get a hold of them and do it. But then I'm paying for it. The other way, I don't have to pay for it. So since they feel that since we're not paying for it, we don't take priority, even though there's guys that have probably had the recal back in 2019 that are waiting. I mean, it doesn't do anything except that now you know that there's a possibility that some of the safeguards have been disabled, like if you don't use DEF. And you just got to put DEF in every day, every time you fuel every day. So, I mean, it hasn't increased my DEF usage. So, I mean, theoretically, I could go 2 days before I have to put DEF in, but I'm fueling anyways, and it takes 2 seconds longer to put DEF in. It's not like that's really a big deal. I just want to get, and plus I'm switching carriers, and I can't even get on a new carrier until I get my truck back so I can get it into the carrier I was with so they can take their ELD stuff out and take their placarding off and that. Or I'm going to ask them if I can have the new company take it all out, put it in a bag, and bring it to them, and they can verify that, yeah, you know, if the sticker's in there and all that kind of stuff. So I'm stuck. And this other company saying they've got more than enough work for me. Kind of want them for right now, just to test the truck out. They've got some dedicated stuff running to Texas and back. So, I mean, I could do some fairly decent miles during the week. Yeah, it'll be dedicated, but I doubt if it's going to the same spots. It's just they might have 2 or 3 spots in Texas that they go to, and 2 or 3, you know, some spots they pick up coming back up here. But at least I could get working again. So that's where I'm at right now. I'll update you and let you know what's happening.